Welcome to part 3 of our cycle documentary, where we continue our cycle ride following Eurovelo 6 along the Loire Valley. In the previous episode, we cycled from Angers to Nevers. In this episode, we continue our journey along the Loire Valley from Nevers to Mulhouse. We had a great night's sleep at the campsite in Nevers. We'd put our tarp over the tent, and luckily we did, as it was covered in dew this morning. There were 2 lots of German cyclists near us who were bike packing. That's where you pack super light, and rather than panniers, they have their bits strapped onto the frame. It means they're better equipped to go off-road. But still, they had their tent and cooking gear, barely any luggage. They even had their chairs. I had serious light packing envy, if that's even a thing.
So we're just starting packing up. It's ready to start day 31. I do quite like the canals. They're very picturesque. And all the boats, there's some are nicely done up, some are sinking. And how beautiful is this first thing this morning? It's awesome.
We were the last to leave camp, as per usual, but it was only a short day, so why rush? Camping grounds are becoming less frequent, and we had the option of riding 36 kilometres today or 84. We cycled alongside the canals all day, and it was easy and picturesque riding. We stopped a number of times to watch the canal boats travel through the locks. The lock keeper would run out, unlock the lock by winding a thingy to equalise the water. Then the suspense of watching a large boat fit through with only centimetres on each side to spare.
And he fit through there without hitting the sides. This guy's got to somehow get through this gap. Can he do it?
I made sure to film it to add to their pressure.
Big.
As we cycled along, we saw a swan attacking a boat. It had its wings raised in attack mode and whacked its beak repeatedly against the boat as it travelled down the canal. I'd never seen anything like it. We'd heard that swans can attack humans, so we pedalled on past as quickly as we could.
It's not sharks we need to be worried about in these waters, it's swans. I think I'll be a bit scared taking my kayak up there even. Right now I just couldn't imagine travelling any other way. There's only another 2.5 k's to the town where we plan to camp for the night. It's not even 2, but we'll have a look when we get there. Maybe we can just laze around for the afternoon, get some washing done and stuff. Because otherwise it's an extra about 45 k's to the next camp from here, and it's quite hot. So I've just arrived in the town of Dijon.
The first campsite we arrived at was beautiful, so we decided to stop. We're camping right beside the river, watching rowers row up and down, and a swan family begging for food. Last evening was perfect camping right beside the river, soaking up the last of the sun before it disappeared in a haze of orange, not to be seen again for a few days.
Good morning, welcome to day 32 of our cycle ride. We're a bit late packing up today because it's been raining all night. Our tent's a bit wet.
It was cold this morning, and I rugged up in my full wet weather gear before heading out for the day. The rain had actually stopped long enough for us to pack up a dry tent, which was quite considerate really, but it started again just as we left camp. Even though the day was gloomy, the cycling was fantastic. We followed a canal for a while, then headed inland and cycled through farms and up and down rolling hills.
So the route has taken us away from the canals for today, and we're weaving in and out of little country roads. It's really weird because one minute we've got a tailwind, the next minute we've got a headwind, so we really are meandering. But it's quite pleasant, it's flat at this stage, and we just hope we're going the right way because the signs have just disappeared. We're in the middle of nowhere.
There was a time we could see the rain coming straight at us, so we cycled like mad to keep ahead of it. It was nice having a tailwind for a change, and we put our heads down and went for it, not stopping for a break until we hit the 30-kilometre mark.
Oh, there's some people coming up on an interesting bike. What a neat little contraption. I don't know what that was. It's like a recumbent bike, but he had a little shelter on the back or something. I don't know if he maybe sleeps in there. Quite interesting watching other people's bike setups. Like, you got a lot of people like us with all the panniers. You get a few people towing things. Sometimes they've got their dogs in them. Saw a guy yesterday, a little pod. We saw a guy the other day towing a little caravan. Oh, and then we've seen the bike packers next to no gear. I had serious light travel envy because I think we travel quite light, but obviously not. What a dreary old day, but I'm still loving it. We stopped for a bite to eat and the rain's caught us up. We're doing so well.
The rest of the afternoon we cycled in the wet, but we kept moving so it didn't feel too cold. After 40 kilometres, we missed a turning and there was no sign turning us off. We ended up pushing our bikes up a long, steep hill to the main road with massive trucks barrelling along it. We double-checked our map and we had to backtrack to the turning, but at least it was all downhill on the way back. We dripped into camp and opted for a mobile home to dry our stuff out.
So the rain finally caught up with us. And
we ran for shelter.
We got drenched and now we're in a camping ground, a mobile home, drying out.
It was not a great start to the day.
Good morning. We're just in the town of Bourbon-Lancy. We just left our little cabin in the camping ground. It was raining when we got here yesterday, so we just went straight to a cabin. We didn't go into the town to have a look around. So we're just heading into the town this morning to have a look around before heading on.
It was only 2 kilometres, but it happened to be up a really steep hill.
This is a quaint little town of Bourbon-Lancy. It's very small, but it's very picturesque.
The quirky and quaint town of Bourbon-Lancy was full of old chocolate ripple buildings. After snapping a few photos, we headed up to the church, and I caught my shin on my pedal, causing a couple of painful puncture marks. The highlight of the day was seeing an otter. Mike spotted him, and we stood watching him as he ate weed and swam around, oblivious to his admirers. He looked like a wet puppy dog. So cute. Then he started swimming closer to us. When he looked up, saw us watching, and ducked under the water gone.
We're just coming to the town of Dijon, and look what we got to do to get there. We've got to go across a bridge with a canal running down the middle of it. I know, we did this the other day, but still, it's very exciting.
Our camping spot is nice. We have a shelter to cook under, and there's solar-powered USB sockets on the table to charge our devices. It was perfect.
And even a USB, and it's all powered from solar.
Our tent this morning was saturated, and it wasn't from the rain. Condensation had formed on the inside as the weather had dropped from 27 degrees to 9 overnight, and it took us a while to dry the tent out before we could leave.
Welcome to day 34. We'll be heading off soon. This is the Basilica. Pretty impressive looking building.
We stopped at the Basilica in Paray-le-Monial, and it's an impressive building. So we had a quick look around before continuing along the cycle path. We don't usually like leaving our fully loaded bikes when sightseeing, but there weren't too many people around. If we're leaving them unattended for a period of time, there's a couple of safeguards we do. We have 2 cable locks, one which is a heavy duty one, which we lock the bikes together, then to whatever might be there, a tree or a bike stand. The other cable we strap through all our panniers and their handles and pull it quite tight. It won't stop someone getting in, but it will slow them down. We also put the front brake on. We just use a bungee type cord for this. Anything we don't want stolen is in our handlebar bags, which we always take with us. and sometimes I would take my laptop out of the panniers and put into a backpack to take as well. It was an awesome day of canal riding today, and not much happened. The route headed off inland through rolling hills and farmland, but we decided to ride on the road which followed the canal, as there wasn't a lot of traffic.
Just come off the route for a bit, the Eurovelo route, because it's going up and down hills through countryside, and we saw this nice canal. It's a little bit of a busier road, but it felt like a flat ride. My knee doesn't really like the hills just yet.
Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this.
Just coming into the town where we're planning to stay. I don't mention, but we've done over 1,000 kilometres already.
There was no camping in the next town, so we stayed at a hotel. There was an Aldi right next door, so we bought some ready-made salads for dinner.
Welcome to day 35 of our cycle trip through Europe, still in France. Pleasant start to Sunday morning along this nice path along the canal. We're not sure if it's the right path, but it's a nice path. Wouldn't want to accidentally get on that road over there. Busy road. I'm glad they have these little roads for us. This is what the nice thing about following a route is. They're not going to send you on dangerous roads.
We just come down past about 5 locks, which means that what we've been doing the last 2 or 3 days in gaining height, we just lost in 5 minutes.
Cycling along here, thinking it's a nice big wide cycle path, and then a car comes along and I think, okay, it's actually a road. Very pretty through here. We're in Chagney. We were going to stop at the camping ground, but then we decided we're just enjoying today, we're just going to keep cycling. So it's nearing the end of the day, our cycling day. It's 4:30. We've done 64 kilometres already today, and it feels like we're out in the middle of nowhere. We're just looking for camping. I'm pretty sure there's some camping coming up. Probably going to be doing 70 k's today, which will be our longest day yet. So we've just arrived at our camp, 70 kilometres for today. We didn't intend to ride that far, but we were just enjoying it, so just kept on going. The little camp spot we've chosen for the night.
We're in a camping ground in the middle of nowhere. Only 2 other campers here.
So this is our dinner tonight. We've got no food except for a half-eaten thing of cheese. So we just bought up some pasta and we're just chucking the cheese in, mixing it around till it melts, and basically it's macaroni cheese.
During the night, rain pummeled our tent while thunder cracked its whip. This went on all night, so I didn't get much sleep. Despite the torrential downpour the previous evening, it stopped this morning and we managed to pack up a dry tent, and we're away before 10.
Welcome to day 36 of our cycle tour.
It was not such a nice day today. It rained on and off, and the roads weren't as nice as the canal paths. It cleared up in the afternoon, and we followed the Saône River for a while. We didn't see any shops, but we managed to get a baguette and some quiches. We had some butter left over, which had melted and solidified again, so we had bread and butter for lunch. After the town of Souer, we lost all signs to the route. 1 minute they were guiding us nicely, the next they'd left us to fend for ourselves. We were relying on our map, and the route headed inland, so we followed it along rough gravel roads. Then a nice path appeared right next to the river. Google told me the path would take us to the next town, so we followed it.
We found a path. It's still not signposted, but it's right beside the river, and it's very nice, and it seems to be going the direction we want to. Here's hoping.
There were still no route signs, and our map didn't mention this path, but it was lovely, and we followed it most of the way to the town, cutting 5 kilometres off our trip. In the town, we finally found a supermarket, so we grabbed a couple of salads for dinner and headed to our camp.
We made our way to the town we were planning to camp. It's the town of Saint-Jean-de-Lozny. Just arrived at our camping spot.
It's a popular stop for cycle tourists, and the camp is very busy. We ate our salads at 6 p.m, but we're still hungry. So we went to the camp bar for some fries, beers, and a Magnum. It's a nice spot overlooking the river. Day 37.
Welcome to day 37 of our cycle tour through France.
We left camp at 9 a.m. and started the day riding alongside the river.
There's the campground over there that we stayed at last night. Little bar restaurant there, which is quite nice. Lovely spot to camp, very busy.
I've been 2 days now without eating a pastry. I'm trying to eat healthier. So at the supermarket, I bought a chicken wrap as a snack, much to Mike's disgust, and a baguette and tin of tuna for lunch. We reached the town of Dole and we were going to go to Decathlon to get some camping gas, but it was up a hill and we decided not to go.
We don't know where we're going. Signs have just disappeared on us. They always do that.
We found an amazing spot for lunch overlooking the river and made our tuna baguette. After lunch, we continued our ride along the river, but there was a sign saying the route was barred in 700 metres and a diversion was sending us inland on the roads.
This is nice through here. Back there it said route barré. We thought we'd come anyway. We haven't seen it barred off at this stage. We may have to turn around and go back, but this is beautiful through here.
It was so beautiful, and I congratulated Mike on being daring and taking this route.
Where we were just over there. It was a 5 kilometre detour we didn't need to do. The sign, Mike read it as 700 metres, but it was actually 7,000 metres. So when we'd done 2 kilometres and we see a sign saying route barré 5,000 metres, we questioned it and turned around. So it could have been worse. Could have been a 14 kilometre detour. We're just at the other town where the other end of that route was barred, and we're just trying to figure out what was causing it. Mike's just said they've dug up the cycle track over there. So when we first started cycle touring, we were struggling to do 30 kilometres a day, and now we're doing between 60 and 70, and we're finding it quite easy. Mind you, it is pretty flat, but I think we're definitely a lot fitter after a month of cycling.
We got back onto the nice river paths, and as we cycled along, something up ahead blocked our path. Mike went to cycle around it, but I yelled at him to stop. A big scary snake had sprawled itself across the path, showing no sign of moving. Mike made a move to try and cycle past it, and again I had to stop him. We didn't really know what to do. I didn't want to cycle past it in case it got caught up in the tyres and launched itself at us. We thought about making some kind of noise to prompt it off the path, but after a few minutes it made its move and slithered back into the bushes. We stopped at a very busy campground with a river beach, and the grass was long. Now I know there's snakes here. I was a little nervous, but there was no sign of any, so we had dinner at the camp restaurant.
Welcome to day 38. We're just packing up a very wet tent. It didn't rain, but the dew, it was just soaked this morning, and we didn't manage to find a particularly sunny spot, so I might have to separate the inner from the outer today.
Day was stunning, cycling through a gorge with a river flowing through it, hills looming on either side. It's starting to feel like Switzerland with the scenery and chalet-style houses. We even heard cows with bells. Switzerland's about 40 kilometres to our right, so that's not surprising. We stopped at a town called Besancon for lunch. I suggested staying in town, but the weather is so nice for cycling, we're keen to keep moving. What we saw of the town was impressive, with a citadel high on the hill. All I could think was, I hope we don't have to cycle up there.
I'm really hoping we don't have to go up there.
Thankfully we didn't, as there is a long tunnel leading us out of town.
Oh, a tunnel! We're just camping at this lovely little spot in a little town called Bournemouth. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, so I'll put it down there. It's a really nice little spot. $20 a night though, quite expensive. Welcome to day 39 of our cycle tour. What a beautiful day it is too. Not a cloud in the sky at the moment. Just leaving our campsite now. It's almost 11. It's just so neat when the scenery changes. Just makes you feel like it's just like you're on a completely different cycle ride. So we'll soon be coming into a town of Montbéliard, which is 13 kilometres from the Swiss border. So we're getting closer. There's no camping there though, which is a shame. So I'm going to find hotels. I hope there's something available.
Tonight we're in the town of Montbéliard and there is no camping. So we're staying at an ibis in the city centre.
Welcome to day 40 of our cycle tour. We'll be soon into Germany. Just leaving the lovely little town of Montbéliard and we're going to Mulhouse, which actually in English looks like Mulhouse. Done about 1,500 kilometres so far. That's probably about halfway. It's amazing to think we've just cycled across France. We'll be in a new country tomorrow and that's really exciting too. We just come into the town of Mulhouse. Our time in France will soon be coming to an end. It's very sad. I think tomorrow we'll be in Germany.
So join us next episode for the next leg of our cycle journey. If you'd like to watch all of our vlog episodes, I'll put a link to a playlist down below. Thanks for watching.